So let's get started, and say the people who join us afterwards will just join us in process. Okay. Today we're going to be talking mostly about YouTube and videos in general also. For anyone who's listened to me before, they know that I'm a huge believer in videos, and we have a tremendous amount of data to back it up, although it's interesting. I don't find many people disagreeing with me about videos, but they're just not doing it. It's just kind of an interesting. Yeah, people say, "Oh yeah, I get that I'd have a lot more business if I did videos, and I need a lot more business, but no, I don't have any videos." So we'll talk about that a little bit, but mostly specifically about YouTube. Now, just to put it in context, and for those with us yesterday, I apologize if I repeat myself a little bit, but I just want to make sure everybody's in the same context. We're really talking about one segment of digital marketing today, and that's video YouTube use inside your marketing. Marketing, or digital marketing, has a lot of parts. It's like a puzzle, and you have a lot of parts that you have to understand, but you also have to put those parts together to have it work really well. That's really not our purpose, this one. The purpose of this training is really about a piece of the puzzle, not the puzzle overall. We do on May 6th, and Grayson, maybe you can send out another reminder of others. On May 6th, we actually have, I think, what Grayson's calling a super session that really addresses the overall much more. We're going to start off with talking about a high-converting web page, because that's kind of the beginning point of all digital marketing, or at least most. But that's where we talk, that series is where we're going to be talking more about the overall plan and less about the individual pieces. But this one's about the individual pieces. Okay. Also, if you have any questions, you just put it in the chat, and if you put in the chat, either Grace and I will catch it and we will answer it. I think we had every question answered yesterday, and we'll try to do the same today. All right, and I will say this works better for everybody if we make it, participatory. If people actually put questions in, if I ask a question, if they answer it, the more engagement, the more back and forth we can get, the better this will be for everybody. So please, I know there's a natural inclination on all of us to just let someone else answer, which ends up meaning nobody answers a question. Okay, but please be bold and jump in, ask the questions that you have, and answer the questions that are asked. All right?
All right, you talk and I'll monitor the chat.
Perfect. Okay. So, YouTube. I'm going to assume everybody here has used YouTube. And there are some things that make YouTube really unique for advertising and for building your business. And I'll say it is, in my opinion, one of the very, very overlooked tools that we have at our disposal in digital marketing. And here's what makes it so unique. It's probably the only place, or at least by far the biggest place, people go to watch videos about a subject that they're interested in. All right? And so from a sales perspective, what more can you ask than be in front of somebody when they're trying to learn about the service that you provide? I mean, just think about that for a moment. When you get in front of people on YouTube on your product or service, they literally have gone to it to try to learn about your product or service. Maybe not from you, but they've gone to learn about it. There's probably no better time to get in front of somebody than at that point, because they're towards the very end of their process by that point, but they haven't moved into the final stage of actually selecting somebody. And so you're getting in at almost the perfect point. And that, when that was explained to me, it really made me look at YouTube differently. And I think just out of interest, let's throw in a chat. Does that make sense to people that if you sell knitting needles, if you could be in front of people when they're Googling, or not Googling, when they're on YouTube looking to learn how to knit, do you think that would be a pretty good time to be in front of them with your knitting needles? Okay. It really is a kind of a special, and thank you, Rob, for answering. I appreciate it. It really is a special moment, and that is what YouTube is about. It's about that special moment. Okay. So we're going to look at that. But first, what we're going to do is we're going to start kind of going
we have
through
a
the
comment
chat.
before you go on to that. Laura says, I only use YouTube to look for how to do something. There are always a lot of videos.
Absolutely, Laura. You're 100% correct. And again, think of what you'll need to do. Would that be a good time? Answer this if you don't mind. Would that be a good time for someone who supplied that thing you're trying to learn about to be in front of you? What do you think? Do you think that would be good? Yeah, absolutely. All right. So we're going to start off with a form, and Grayson, maybe you could make a point of writing down, because I'll probably forget, to send the link to this document that I've got right here, okay? So this is defining your moment and how to create your video ad for YouTube. This comes, for those who find it interesting where it comes from Digital Marketer. Digital Marketer is one of, if not the most respected and largest training companies around digital marketing. And we're a huge proponent of theirs. And this was a class that was taught by Tom Breeze, who runs an agency that only advertises on YouTube. Okay? So the whole thing, as I said earlier, the whole thing about YouTube is that you're there at the right moment. So the first few questions of this is defining the right moment. So when people are searching on YouTube, they want to know, do, or buy something. This is because they have a problem that needs to be fixed. Who are you helping, and what problem does your product or service fix? Okay, if you can define that and get in front of people at that moment, it's probably the most fertile time to be in front of them. Okay? In order to define your moment, we need to make sure that there's enough people looking, okay? And we'll show you how to make sure there's enough people looking. It doesn't do any good to find somebody who's looking for your thing if there's only 2 of them in the whole country. So we have to make sure that we're searching, we're looking at the searches that have enough volume, okay? The way we're going to do it is actually look on some things and see how many people are actually going and viewing that. What we're looking for is, do videos getting more than 10,000 views? If it's more than 10,000 views, that means that there's a significant search volume of people trying to solve or answer that question. Okay? Does your offer that you have seem like the perfect solution or the next step for the viewer to take? The closer you can make that happen, that you are the answer or you are the next step, if you can do those things, YouTube advertising will be huge for you. All right?
Can I make a point, Art?
Absolutely. I don't know. Let's see you try.
As business owners, we always feel like ours is the perfect solution. So it's important to step back and maybe even ask your friends or other things, what do they think is the next step? Because, you know, your vision on that is often clouded. It's very difficult to move yourself out of that lens.
That's a great point. Traditionally, when I ask people who is the best person to make use of their product, they usually go anybody or everybody, which obviously is not accurate at any time unless you're selling oxygen to people who don't have it. You know, if there's no air. All right. So it's important to define your moment so that you have a complete YouTube game plan, okay? And we basically have a sentence here that you fill in. When any homeowner types in kitchen remodeling, I'm going to be there for them with compelling video ad that sends them on my free or paid offer. That is the perfect solution to their problem. Okay, so whatever field you're in, this is the sentence you're trying to complete. Out of interest, anyone brave enough to try it? If you so, just put it into the chat.
Yep,
and say you'd like to try it.
Or we're going to pick someone.
Or we're going to pick somebody. No one feeling, oh, wait a second.
No one's brave. What about Gail? She was pretty,
no
okay, Alex will give it a try. All right.
Well, Laura, actually, oh yeah, Alex was first. Okay, super. Okay, Alex, can you take him off, can you unmute him?
Working on it.
Okay.
It's not allowing me to unmute him. Alex, you may have to unmute yourself.
Okay.
There we go.
All right.
All right.
So, Alex, is this making sense so far?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Go.
So, you want to try to fill in the blanks?
You want me to type it or speak it?
No. Go ahead and just speak it out loud. When any what? That's the customer, age, gender, included if necessary. What is the group that you're making the statement to?
When any homeowner
Types in what?
types in remodeling and let's see, addition with remodeling.
Okay.
I'm going to be there for them with a compelling video ad that sends them on to my Y video.
Okay. Is this free or paid?
This is free.
Okay.
Onto my Y video that explains briefly for them why design, build, delivery process is highly beneficial for the successful outcome of their project.
Okay. So I'm going to make a couple of suggestions, and these are just kind of brainstorming suggestions, okay, just to make us think.
Yes.
If we could be maybe more specific in the customer, okay, so as an example, maybe we could, and this is not necessarily true in your case, I'm just giving some examples to kind of stir the thing.
Sure.
Maybe it's when any aging couple living in Northern Virginia types in remodeling addition for living at home. Do you see what I'm saying? Aging at home in place. The more specific we can make it, the more targeted we can make your Y video.
Yes.
Would you agree? So you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's much more of a rifle shot approach, which is way more effective.
Right. Okay. So that would be the only suggestion I would say from you. Now, what is interesting is I'm not sure, and again, you never are when you first throw this out. You kind of have to work it through. But I'm not sure your why design build answers their question about addition, meaning they didn't search which might be best way to do an addition on my home. Okay, and we'll just for the fun of it, let's take a look at that.
Yep.
Let's just go to YouTube. Okay, and by the way, I suggest I'm doing this because this is the way I suggest you do it. Let's see, best way to do an addition to my home. Now, there may be nothing here, might be hundreds, we don't know. All right, so anyway, how much does a home addition cost? Isn't it directly? So there isn't particularly an answer to this one, okay? This is the cost of how to build a room addition to your home on a budget,
Right.
okay? But you have how much does a home addition cost? Facts and remodeling cost tips.
But look at the difference in views. It's 1.2 million on the top one. That's huge.
Right.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, Alex. Now this is I don't know what your answer will be, but this is a do-it-yourself edition. How to build a room addition to your home on budget. So first, I'm going to ask you a question. Would you like to be in front of this 1.2 million people?
No, please, no.
Okay. Are you sure?
Well, that's a fair question. There's probably 10% of them or more who really don't want to do it themselves.
Or might want to do it themselves until they watch this video and find out how much work it is and decide they don't want to do it themselves.
Right, right.
Okay.
Okay. We've got a couple more pieces in the chat, though.
Okay,
Yeah.
but let's just keep going with this for a second, okay? So,
You know,
Alex, let me
Go
throw
ahead.
out a little fact about Facebook ads that you probably don't know,
Right.
okay? Do you know that if someone clicks off of your ad before 30 seconds come up, you don't get charged for that?
No.
Right. It's an interesting fact, and here's why that's an interesting fact. Most of the time when we shoot a video, the number one thing we're trying to do is to be engaging for people don't stop watching it, right?
Right. Makes sense.
With YouTube advertising, it's just the opposite. We try to discourage them from keeping watching it because we only pay if they keep watching. So as an example, if I were you doing a video on this do-it-yourself,
Yes.
I might start off with, and I don't know, Grayson, see how long it takes me to get to the point that they want to click out if they're not open to a discussion about design build. Okay.
Okay, 30 seconds. Ready? Go.
Okay. So you're looking at doing an addition yourself. That is great if you're very handy and have time to learn or already know. You should click out of this video if you're not interested in learning how design build process might answer all your questions and give you the perfect solution. If you are interested in learning, please keep watching.
25 seconds. 25
Okay.
seconds.
So, Alex, you think right up front, I'm telling the people literally to click out of the my video if they're determined to do it themselves.
Okay. Yeah, that's a negative reversal to help them disqualify themselves immediately as to save yourself money because then
Yes.
they leave before 30 seconds.
Correct. But but how many of these 1.2 million who chose to keep listening to another process that might answer that question, how many of those would you like to be in front of?
As many as are qualified. And
Yeah.
they can afford to do it.
Well, you can't tell if they can afford to do it or not. That's unfortunately. But I think everyone who's learning how to do it themselves, but are interested in another solution called design build and what it is, I think we want to be in front of those people most likely.
Right. I think so.
Yep.
Okay, we have a couple more questions. If we can.
Okay.
All right.
Well, let
Thank
me
you,
just
Alex.
Yeah.
Let's finish with Alex. So, Alex, did that help you kind of understand how YouTube might actually get you in front of the right people?
Yes. Thank you. I didn't know any of that. So that was very informative. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. All right.
Okay.
So what else do we have, Grayson?
Gail says she gave her try at it. How do I know what my remodeling project is going to cost.
Okay. So wait a second.
That would, yeah, that's right underneath it. How much does a home edition cost?
Right. So I'm gonna copy and paste so we get the exact results to that question, because this is absolutely fascinating.
How people search.
Okay. So there we go. Now, first of all, we'll talk about this in a moment, but you notice we have ads here too. But here we have 5 ways to calculate remodeling. There's only 788 views, so that's not that exciting. But here is 80,000 views, how to calculate the cost of repairs on any house in under 60 seconds. I'm fascinated just to see how he even tries to do that. Okay, but then we have 41,000 views on how to estimate construction. We have 34,000 on how much does a bathroom remodel cost. The real cost, this might be interesting, the real cost of do-it-yourself home renovations. Okay. We get into it. So 258,000. A lot of people here looking at the cost. Here's 406,000. Okay. So let's just, for the fun of it, click on this one.
Welcome back to another episode of the How To Home Podcast. My name is Aaron Massey. Joining me as always is Tracy Pendergast.
Hello.
And today we've got Javier Ruiz with us, who is a mortgage banker. And we are talking today about...
Okay, so that's what that one is. Okay. I think, and that one was a mistake, because that one, I didn't look at that. That's only 6,000 views. Let's just, for the fun of it, take a look at this
Hey,
one.
do you want to hear something cool? A couple of years ago, we struggled to identify the perfect...
You notice what we have here is an ad in front of people asking how much does it cost to remodel a kitchen. Okay? And it's a couple of interesting things. First of all, I'm going to suggest that if I was a kitchen remodeler, I might want to be talking to them before they watch this video. But I want to make a second point. You notice this ad is for SEMrush, which is a research tool for digital marketing agencies. Does anyone want to guess why that ad came on in the chat? And can you unmute Gail Grayson?
Yes, working on it.
Okay. But can anyone chat, just into the chat, just type in why you think there's an SEMrush ad playing before a home remodeling video.
Gail, you should be good to go.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Great.
Okay. Just before you get started, let me just see if anyone's brave enough to take a guess on this.
Laura says because they were hired to do the ad.
Okay, good guess. But Laura, actually the reason is because I'm doing the search, and I'm a digital marketing agency, and it knows from my browsing history that I am interested in research tools to do digital marketing better. And so actually that ad is being put in front of me specifically because of who I am and what I research. If you did the same, unless you were really spending a lot of time on digital marketing sites and doing digital marketing searches, that ad would not have been shown to you, which is a major thing to think about. It is intelligently putting that ad in front of a qualified prospect. I think that's really interesting. All right, so Gail.
Yes.
So it was your request for that search. What do you think about that search?
Okay, so the other search that you did for Alex is, to me, and I think Alex, so I'm not going to speak for him, but when you pulled that up, I was thinking, no, sure, I can possibly convert someone who's a DIYer, okay? But really, that's not at all my business model in marketing, because I've learned that people that are interested in DIY are really not interested in hiring a quality design, build, remodeling company, which is a waste of my marketing dollars then. So I try and target it more specifically for the people that I might capture more efficiently. So that's why I came up with that as an example. That's not my only,
Sure.
thought. I have many examples. But then when you said that about the 30 seconds, so then my obvious thought is, why not just create a video that's less than 30 seconds? So then you wouldn't have to pay for anything.
Well, no, you wouldn't have to pay for it, because if it's less than 30 seconds, you get charged differently.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Google owns YouTube. They're pretty smart.
I mean, I would think that someone would have thought of that. But so then I think when you're saying, okay, you don't want them, this is the reverse of yesterday. You don't want them to stay on there because you're going to be charged. Then other than saying what you said, which is pretty direct of, hey, if you're not interested in seeing beyond a DIY and hiring a quality design build remodeling company, then this video is not for you. Other than being direct like that, what other kind of video would you possibly do? Like, I'm confused about that.
Well, sure. So using the same example, I might say the shocking secret of why hiring a professional actually gives you a better cost return than doing the project yourself. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, might be another approach. I mean, one of the things that I drive people crazy on is that I am a constant A/B checker, where I'd shoot 2 different videos, 3 different videos, 4 different videos, and try each one and see which one was getting better results. Okay. Mm-hmm. The only reason I was that direct on that one was it's that clear that we want 90% of the people to click out. Okay.
Right. No, I agree. I mean, if that's the case, you're going to be charged. You don't want them listening, and if they're really not your audience.
That is correct. So I was going very direct because of how black and white the situation was.
So
if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure. So wouldn't it always be the case then for YouTube videos, that your marketing videos, that you're really always kind of having to be direct like that?
No, you always want to give them enough information to click out if they're not interested. In YouTube, you always want to do that. But if I think the viewers of those videos that I'm showing on that ad are my right clients, I don't want to be as direct because I don't want to turn them off.
Right.
I do want to let them click out if they're not interested, but I don't want to be taking the people in the middle, meaning, they're kind of interested, mm-hmm. but if I'm offensive, they're going to click out.
Yeah.
I might want to keep, it's kind of like being a politician. What you really don't care about the extreme right or the extreme left. They're going to vote the way they vote. The person you're doing the ad for is the person in the middle, right?
Right. So I'm starting to think maybe it's not for me then, because it's such a fine line. You have to be somewhat of an expert to know how to do your video, and even then I feel like you're going to possibly waste a lot of your marketing dollars for all kinds of people watching your video, because you want to make it intriguing, so you want them to click on it to begin with, but then you don't want it to be, you have to
you want to be intriguing to the people that are the right client for you.
What was
that?
Did
you want it to be intriguing for the people that are the right client for you. You don't care if it's intriguing to everybody.
Right. The problem is you don't know, like when you have over 10,000 people, like you were saying, that's what you're shooting for, then you don't know which ones are that the right people are going to click on it. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's right. But it's like everything else. As you do it more, you get better and better at it. Mm-hmm. And you can get pretty good at figuring out how to be enticing to those who are good prospects for you, and how to gently or ungently let people know who are bad clients to move away. But that is a process, there's no doubt. But I'm going to show you a couple of other things that I said I'd come back to. This is a good time to come back to it. Okay. You notice we have ads here, okay, where we can actually, there's a Home Advisor ad. So this is so cost effective. Home Advisor, now think about this, they're paying YouTube for this ad, so they then can resell it to someone else. Okay, YouTube advertising is so cheap. So just in comparison to Facebook advertising, leads on YouTube are 20% of the cost of leads from Facebook. That gives you a large a space for error. Does that make sense?
Are you saying now you're talking differently than videos? You're saying, for example, when you said you got that SEO ad that came up prior to the video that you clicked on, you're suggesting that try and get your video there, and that's a different.
That's one of the things to do. But if you take a look right here, this is really interesting. What we're looking at right now, these are paid ads before the video that we searched for is shown. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now think about this for a moment. The three advertisers, and this isn't always the case, but the three advertisers are Home Advisor, Angie's List, and Contractor Smith, which is a lead generation company. They have figured out that YouTube ads are so cheap that they literally can pay Google or YouTube, which Google owns them. They can literally pay YouTube money to give them the lead so they can resell it to other people. It's so cheap they can actually use it as a go-between. They can be a reseller of YouTube ads. And the only reason they can afford to be a reseller of YouTube ads is because the general companies haven't figured out how cheap YouTube ads are yet. If they had figured out how cheap YouTube ads were, they'd be bidding on these ads. The cost of them would go up, and Home Advisor couldn't afford to come in and pay YouTube for leads that they were going to sell to other people. Does that make sense?
Well, yes, you're saying because they're lead generating businesses, that's what you're saying about reselling the ads. They're not really reselling that ad space. They're just capturing leads that then they're reselling those leads. That's what you're saying.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
But they paid for that lead, and then they're going to resell it, and there's profit in it. Mm-hmm. So if your ad was here, you'd be getting it at the wholesale price.
Well, can you give us an example of what you mean, like cheap? Because we don't know what you mean. Like, what are we talking?
I've seen on YouTube, Lizzie, we did a YouTube campaign for ourselves, and the leads were about $1.15, I believe, per lead.
Mm-hmm.
It's about a penny a view.
About a penny a view and $1.15 per actual lead. We did it for a roofing company where we were getting leads for about $9 per lead, which I got to tell you, I know that we have an Owings person on the call. Traditionally, a roofing company will pay up to $200 per lead.
Oh wow!
Okay, and they're getting it here for for $10 to $15.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a couple other questions, if we can. Gail, are you feeling like you have all your questions answered?
Please mute me. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Yeah, and I did see Alex. Am I saying that YouTube?
We gotta back up. All right. Well, let's answer Alex's question because it's pertinent, but then we need to back up because Daisy took a stab also at
no, that's perfect. Let me just answer because this is really fast. Absolutely, the purpose of a YouTube video is completely different than the purpose of a Facebook video. So they have to be shot completely differently.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to say using a YouTube video for Facebook or a Facebook video for YouTube, if it's designed correct for the platform that you were planning on putting it on, if it's shot correctly, it will be a total waste to show it on the other platform. All right. So what is Daisy?
Daisy says she's going back to her any person statement. Any person that likes holistic alternative medicine or immune boosters, I would direct them to my free advertising explaining Daisy Super Tonic, 100% raw, organic, powerful ingredients.
Absolutely. YouTube has proven to be a gold mine for health related items. Let's just take a look at this. Let's just, for the fun of it, type in
alternative medicine.
Well, improve my immune system.
Okay.
Because I don't think, Grayson, I could be totally wrong. I don't think many people will say alternative medicine because that doesn't give them an answer to any specific problem they're having. I would think they might say natural ways to make joints feel better or something, but they'd be looking for a problem, not a whole category. Okay, so improve my immune system. Boost your immune system naturally, 120,000 views. How to boost immunity, 598,000 views. 10 foods to boost your immunity, 668,000 views. How to boost, I mean, Daisy, is Daisy unmuted?
No, let me unmute her. She is not unmuted yet. 1 second.
Okay.
There she is.
All right, Daisy.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I've got to ask you, going through this list, is this exciting?
Yes, very exciting.
Okay. So, yes, you have basically 4 choices, okay? So here are your 4 choices. One is you could put your ad right up here for even before they see it, okay? Now, you notice one is a review site, but here's a person I suspect is actually selling, yes, to keep the immune system running strong with the top time-tested ingredients. Clearly, they're selling affordable prices. Clearly, if I clicked on this, and that would cost them money, and so I try not to do that, you know. But do you agree if I clicked on this, it would be taking me to a product that they're selling?
Yes.
Okay. So your ad could be right there. Okay. You also could be in front of some of these ads, and we'd have to click on it. I don't know if we'd be in front of this one. No, that doesn't seem to have well, let's see. I didn't check beforehand. I don't know how long this. Yeah, this is a 2-minute and 43-second ad, so obviously they don't have an ad in front of that one. A lot of times they don't have ads in front
Your
of it.
Your business idea needs a website, so go to Wix.com.
Now, again, this is a Wix ad, which is a digital marketing product. Again, because I'm searching. If you searched, you'd get a different one there. But this could be your ad for your product, okay? But you also look over here under the up next. You notice there's a how to fix thinning hair. It's a paid ad to put your video in line to be viewed next. So right there is 3 different places. So one is up here, right, in this ad place. Second one is in front of these videos like the one I just showed you. And then the third one is, here's another ad, Stop Protecting Your Home with American Home Shield. Okay? The third place is over here, okay, in the View Next area, okay? And then the fourth place is sometimes you'll see a ad laid over the video that you can click out of if you want, but it might be, you know, click here for the best immune booster known to man, you know, or whatever. You're making it up, but it's an overlay right there. Have you seen that type of overlay before that I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay. So those are the 4 places basically you can add. Although technically this is a 5th place up here, this home warranty. It's inserted above the up next, and that's paid for also. Okay? So those are the places you could. Now, I think, and this is more of a rhetorical question, but play along and answer me anyway. I think it's fair to say you'd like to be in front of people that are Googling how to boost immunity.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I have to tell you, Daisy, this is like anything else. Your message has to be compelling. Your message has to be able to convert people into clients. The best placement, ad placement in the world, is a waste of money if you don't have a message that converts.
That's right.
Okay. But, and this is to me a big but, and I run into this often. People will say, I tried whatever. In this case, I tried YouTube, and I got in front of people going on how to boost immunity, and it doesn't work, they'll say. Okay? And what they miss is it's not being in front of those people that didn't work. It was their message they were giving them that didn't work.
Understand. Yes.
Their call to action.
Their call to action, but it wasn't compelling enough. Okay? And so just because you're in front of the right people doesn't guarantee you'll get results. You have to be in the right people and convince them you're the right choice.
Uh-huh.
Okay?
Yes.
All right, so we have a couple more. Alex wants you to elaborate briefly on the difference in approach between Facebook and YouTube. Specifically, why is the 3x3 not appropriate? And can these videos be used on your website?
Okay.
Why? How?
So the why goes back to what I was saying before about how you get charged. In Facebook, you get charged the moment they click on your video. The moment they click on it, you're being charged. And so you want to get the most bang for your money out of that charge, which means you want them listening to the whole video. All right? In YouTube, when you're doing a video in front, usually when you're putting a video in front of another video, you're only getting charged for people who listen to it 30 seconds or more. And so you want to get the maximum bang for your money again, same as you wanted in Facebook. You want to get the maximum bang. But in this case, the maximum bang for your money is by filtering out the people that aren't great prospects for you, by giving them the opportunity to opt out. If you give Facebook people the opportunity to opt out, they're going to all opt out. No one's going to listen to it because that's the nature of people that are on Facebook. The average view length for a video on Facebook is 4 seconds. People are clicking on it. If you don't catch their attention immediately, they're gone. And so, but you've paid for it because you paid on the click. Where in YouTube, it's called a long format process platform, which means people have come to listen to videos. It is not unusual. You notice this 12-minute and 28-second video here? You'd virtually never have a 12-minute and 28-second video ad on Facebook because people don't come there to watch a video for 12 minutes. They come there to watch a video for 30 seconds. In fact, on Instagram, you can't even put a video on that's over a minute. And so it's because of intent of the two reasons, Alex. One is the intent of the visitor. In Facebook, they're expecting short, quick tidbits. And that's what they're looking for, short, quick tidbits. And so they're not going to stay on and watch a lengthy item. And you get charged for the click. In YouTube, they are there to listen to a lengthy video. That's their purpose. The average video is watched for 14 minutes on YouTube. The average video is 4 seconds on Facebook. That is a dramatically different behavior from the two different groups. Usually the same people, may I add. Quite often, YouTube watchers are also Facebook people. But when they're there, their intent is completely different.
Okay, all right, one last comment.
Yeah,
Gail asks.
Ask Alex if that answered the question.
Yeah, he asked another question, but I responded in the chat. So he wanted to say, is the 3x3 approach still recommended? And I said no, but we're going to detail that in another week.
Right.
Okay, so Gail asks, are the 4 ad placement locations all the same price?
No, each one is priced differently. And it will change based on what the search term is, actually. It's not even a standard. It's a dynamic pricing system based on which one has gotten the best results. You're going to pay for the one that has traditionally gotten the best results. And you'll pay least for the one that traditionally gets the least results. They're very sophisticated. They know everything that people are doing on their site. And so they know what's the best bang for the buck, and they charge accordingly.
No more questions.
No more questions.
15 minutes.
Yeah, so I just want to give go ahead.
Are the stats for results from contractors?
I don't have specific stats other than our own clients, which is not a big enough database to make it relevant. But as I said, it has worked very well for our roofing clients. and we have not done it with our kitchen and bath clients because we need the right videos, and we haven't been able to produce the right videos with them yet.
Are there organic videos that are viral and therefore don't pay?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Well, I understand, Gail. The videos here that are in the natural thing, those are not paid. And so if it went viral, it would be something that all of a sudden got a ton of shares and a ton of watches and stuff. But generally, those are not paid. Okay. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Grayson, I'd like to add something to that and see if you agree with me or not. The concept of viral is a Facebook, Instagram, Twitter concept. YouTube videos don't go viral. They're not socially shared like the other ones. The reason some have 120,000 views is either because they're optimized for SEO. So when someone goes in and puts in "improve my immune system," as an example, this came up number one. That's not the same as being viral. It's an answer to a search term. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is they may have paid,
yes.
like this Meta Simplified they may have been running ads for this video, which might be why it has so many views. But the concept of viral is not a YouTube concept.
I'm going to answer Bill Ripple's question. 115 views equals 1 lead question. It really depends on the tie. There's so many variables there that you can't say how many views equals 1 leads. Impossible to say, I think.
Yeah.
And I think it would be way more than that to get a lead. But it's so cheap.
Yeah, these views are nationwide.
Nationwide.
And
yeah, that's the other thing.
Into particular zip codes that we service, and would only be getting the percentage of these that were within the zip codes that we handle.
Right, which is small.
Right. Okay. And you wouldn't be putting the way you place ads, which we haven't really talked about. You don't place ads on one individual video. What you do is it's called. There's a few ways to do it. One is to put it on like maybe Med Simplified may have 100 videos, and all of them have a lot of views. So we might ask for ads to be put on anything that's played in their channel. We also might, which is the more common way, ask for search terms. In other words, I want my ad shown for anyone who's searching to improve their immune system, rather than for anyone who went to Sutter Health. Okay, it's called the intent, purchasing intent searches. I think that hopefully makes sense. If someone wants that explained more, do so in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to assume that was understood. All right. So we have about...
one last question. Gail wants to say, you can select demographics, geographic location. Yeah, you can get so granular with the audiences. It's there's a lot there.
Right. And also, you can ask for people that have been searching on other platforms. In other words, people who've been doing Google searches for improving my immunity system, not YouTube searches. We can show them, we can have the ad shown to them also by previous search attempts on other platforms, other search platforms. Okay? So, all right. Are we all set, Grayson?
Good to go.
Okay. Now, I'm going to just go here and look at this. How much do in-ground pools cost? People who've listened to me before know that I admire a gentleman named Marcus Sheridan, who is a trainer. In fact, we arranged for him to talk to Nary. I don't know if people got to see him when he talked. I did a webinar about 2 weeks ago, but we arranged for that because we had felt his information was so good. But he actually owns a company called Riverpool Pool and Spa, which is in Waxhaw, Virginia. All right, now, so he's a contractor, just like many of the people on this phone call. Obviously, the contracting he's doing is pools, but he's a contractor. So just take a look at this. if someone typed in how much do in-ground pools cost, you obviously have these ads here. But then take a look at the first two results in the natural organic search. One is how much do in-ground pools cost by River Pools. Now think about this. This is an individual company, 391,000 views. And then how much do concrete, fiberglass, and vinyl liner pools cost? 118,000 views. That means they have over 500,000 views organically. They're not paying for this. They are paying for this. They paid for this by becoming really good at shooting really good videos explaining things around pools. I can't even imagine how much value that has. All right? So I think that's an interesting point. Now, this cost them a lot of money in the beginning because they didn't know how to do this. But now this happens regularly for pool searches that they come up high in it. All right? All right. So we now have 9 minutes left. So if you have any other questions, type it in now because we only have a few minutes left. And while anyone who wants to is doing that, I'm going to say, I hope this gave you a better understanding of what YouTube, or what makes YouTube a special place to advertise on and a special opportunity for virtually all businesses. And I also hope that you have a better understanding of how it works, although I certainly know that we've only done the surface. I mean, to get to be an expert in how to place ads, obviously it takes a lot of time. But I hope you have a better appreciation of that. The other thing I will say is that having the right videos to send people to, which is different. The videos for the ads really have to be shot special for the ad. It has to be, you have to decide what group you're going after, what types of videos they're looking at, and you have to shoot a video that's very specific to that search term and to that audience. But there are a whole bunch of other videos you want on YouTube to be used as collateral or material that will help with the conversion rate. And we'll be discussing what those videos are next week. And I will say some of these videos, if done correctly, can improve your conversion cost all the way, not cost, but conversion rate all the way up. There are a group of leads that I happen to know River Pool is closing 80% of all the leads that come in that way. And that is that group of people that have consumed a specific number and types of videos they produced. If you can just imagine closing 80% of the leads, that is amazing. And that's what we're going to be talking next week. What are those videos that you need to produce in order to increase your closing rate and make all of these efforts, both the YouTube efforts, but all your other efforts, be more effective?
All right, there's a couple of questions in the chat. If you want to, Gail asked a question. You've watched Marcus's videos. Besides the good quality, what specifically do you think is in the message that's so captivating?
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll go over this next week in detail, but here's the bottom line. He does not include what he wants included in the videos. Okay? Traditionally, when we create a video, we meaning us common folk, we're usually talking about ourselves. We're giving people the information we want to give them. We're telling them how great we are, how perfect we are for them, to do their job. All the awards we've won, all the training we've had. We're normally focused on us. And as I say, think about it as a first date. You go on a first date with somebody, and they spend the whole 2 hours you spend with them telling you why they're the perfect person for you to be dating tonight, how lucky you are to be with them, how they are the absolute best possible dinner date. I don't think most of us would think of that as a good date, but if you look at most of our websites and most of our ads, that is exactly what they're doing. what Marcus has done is he's focused in on what is it that the person wants to know, not what they want to tell the person, but what the person wants to know. And they produce all their videos from the perspective of what do they want to know. And he calls it They Ask, You Answer. But now imagine if that same date, if all they did was be attentive to your interests and what you were asking, and that's all they talked about was the stuff you wanted to talk about. I think most of us would agree that would be a better first date. And that is what Marcus does. He focuses everything on answering the question. And what he finds that by doing that, he gains their trust and becomes the person who trains them. And so when they're ready to make a decision, they go with him, which is why 80% of the people that come through that process ends up buying from him. They wouldn't consider anyone else.
Gail, we answered your second question, I believe, but Lila, I'm sorry I mispronounced it. What is the typical cost of producing a video? I assume these are usually professionally done. Good question.
Yeah, great question. First of all, one of the interesting things about YouTube videos, although certainly a lot of times they are professionally done, but one of the things about YouTube videos are that the person who's going to it is actually very interested in the subject. They actually are there to learn about the subject. So actually what has been discovered is the videos actually don't need to be as good as in many other settings because the person has such a high level of interest. All right. That being said, though, obviously a better video is better. And so it's expensive normally. It costs normal average price for a professionally done video of this type would be $2,500 to $5,000. And I'll be absolutely blunt, Gail. The reason that More Prospects Now has gone into creating our own videos is because we knew the cost was prohibitive. Many of you have seen the videos we've done for some of our clients like Leo Lance and Doug King. Doug King, by the way, is the incoming president of NARI, just as a point of interest. But we've done videos for them which didn't cost them anything because of the level that they were clients of ours at. In other words, we have different levels, and at a certain level we do the videos for free. But Gail, to your point, the cost is, if it's done professionally, the cost is going to be expensive. Could still be well worth it, but it's going to be expensive. And it was so expensive, we actually set up a whole new offering just to lower that price of that.
Okay, 2 minutes, and we got one last question from Bill Ripple. Because people come to YouTube late in the process, our videos should be a what level video?
Yes. For those who weren't with us yesterday, Bill's referring to the training on Facebook yesterday, where we had 3 different types of videos, the why, the how, and the what. That is correct, Bill. These people are much farther along in the process normally. They may not be ready to buy, but they're getting close to buying. And so I would say they should be a combination of the how and what video moving more towards the side of the what video. And as I say, it was part of the training yesterday, but it basically is the concept that when people first hear of you, they're not ready to buy from you, and you need to move them through a process of first knowing why you care, then how you do it, and then what they need to do next if they want to take advantage of it.
All right, 1 minute.
All right. Okay. So on that note, if anyone has any other questions, just email Art at More Prospects Now or Grayson at More Prospects Now, and we will definitely get them answered for you. And I'm really excited about next week because knowing the right type of videos to do is really critical. So I'm really looking forward to next week, and I hope this was, in fact, if people could just humor me, if you just put in the chat, like on a scale of 1 to 5, how helpful this was, just because we like keeping track of that. So just put it in, say 1 to 5, just so we can
5 being the most satisfied.
Yeah, 5 being the most satisfied. All right.
And just one other note, the recording will be emailed out from this along with the worksheets, and I will get them out by the end of the day today, providing it all. An hour-long video takes a little while to process and encode and everything.
That's correct. Okay. All right. Excellent. Thank you very much. Hopefully I'll see you all next week.